Greetings. Our reflection is based on Exodus chapters 33 to 40, so it's actually 3 days in our reading plan and one video reflection. In chapter 34, verse 6, we read how the Lord God is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. I hope that can clear up for us a heresy that's casually professed in the church, that there's this Old Testament God and a New Testament God. And the Old Testament God is somehow this angry, vengeful God, and the New Testament God's the God of love. It's absolutely untrue. There's only one God, remember. And there's an unfortunate caricature that we bestow upon God in the Old Testament, that we don't see as somehow the loving God. But God is slow to anger. God is rich in kindness. God is abounding in steadfast love. Those very words appear throughout the Old Testament. And I hope our reading in Genesis and Exodus so far give us a better understanding and appreciation for this God who creates through, we see it in God's creation. We see it in love poured out for humanity and his people. That's very real. It's very evident in what we've read thus far, and will continue throughout our reading of the Bible. In Exodus chapter 34, there's new tablets given, the covenants renewed, and we read about a scene that consists of Moses having a shining face. He comes down from Mount Sinai. He has the two tablets of the covenant in his hand. He's unaware that the skin of his face is shiny after he'd been talking to God, but Aaron and all the Israelites see the skin of his face, and they're afraid to come near him. But Moses calls out to them, and Aaron and the leaders of the congregation return, and Moses has the opportunity to speak with them. And he is able to give to them what God had shared with him on Mount Sinai. He'd be able to give to them the commandment of all that the Lord had spoken with him. So what this is kind of affirming, and kind of this culmination in the book of Exodus, is that even though the Israelites are unfaithful, God's going to be faithful to them. And Moses, again, as this kind of mediator, God's light shining through him. We ponder, how does God's light shine through us? And that we like to think of this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Well, in this incident, it can scare people at first, right? God's light shining through us. People might not know what to do with that. But it was all okay. They were able to be drawn to that light and to respond to that. In 35 and 40, we're really just getting a recounting of instructions given to Moses that we read back in chapters 25 to 31, which is why I'm condensing these videos. The book of Exodus ends with this cloud of glory that speaks of God's abiding presence. The book of Exodus speaks of God's faithfulness, God's presence amongst the people of Israel. There's the development of worship practices and laws. And so we see deliverance, faithfulness. Even when we rebel, God's not going to leave us. And God's faithfulness will extend from generation to generation. Those are some thoughts. Take care and God bless.